The train station was a symphony of chaos. People rushed, pushing, shoving. A cacophony of sounds, shouts, whistles, rumbling engines. Above it all, a lone figure stood still, Michael, clutching a worn leather suitcase. He was a man lost in thought, his face etched with the weariness of a life half-lived. Tonight he was leaving behind the only life he had ever known. The air was thick with the smell of rain and anticipation. Michael boarded the train, the Midnight Express, his ticket a one-way passage to an uncertain future. The train was his escape, his chance to outrun the ghosts of his past. He found his seat, a worn velvet cushion by the window. As the train lurched forward, he felt a strange sense of liberation, the past receding with every turning wheel. The train car was a tapestry of humanity. A young mother struggled with a crying child. An old man dozed, his head bobbing with the rhythm of the train. A businessman spoke in hushed tones on his phone, his words swallowed by the rattle of the tracks. And then there she was. She sat alone, 2 rows ahead, her face hidden behind a book. Her hair was the color of spun gold, catching the light streaming in from the window. She wore a simple blue dress, a stark contrast to the drab attire of the other passengers. He couldn't explain it, but something about her drew him in, like a moth to a flame. The train rattled on, miles melting away into the night. Michael couldn't take his eyes off her. He watched as she turned a page, her brow furrowed in concentration. He imagined her life, her dreams, her secrets. He had to talk to her. He worked up his courage, his heart pounding in his chest. He rose from his seat and walked towards her, each step filled with trepidation. He cleared his throat. "Excuse me," he stammered. "I couldn't help but notice you're reading Hemingway?" She looked up, startled at first, then a smile bloomed on her face. "You know Hemingway?" she asked, her voice soft and melodic. They talked for hours, their conversation flowing effortlessly. He learned her name was Emily, and she was an aspiring writer, just like him. They shared their love for books, their hopes, their fears. He told her about his past, the mistakes he'd made, the regrets he carried. She listened with an open heart, her eyes filled with understanding. As the first rays of dawn peeked through the train window, they knew something had changed. They had shared a connection, a bond, forged in the heart of the night. As the train pulled into the station, signaling the end of their journey, they exchanged numbers, a promise to stay in touch. The days that followed were a blur. Michael couldn't stop thinking about Emily. Their conversations continued, filled with laughter and shared dreams. He found himself inspired, his writer's block shattered. He began to write again, pouring his heart and soul into his work. Emily, too, felt the shift. His presence in her life was a beacon of light, a source of encouragement and support. They challenged each other, pushed each other to be better. Their bond deepened with each passing day, blossoming into something rare and precious. Looking back, Michael often wondered what would have happened if he had chosen a different train, a different seat. Was it fate that had brought them together on that rainy night, or was it simply a chance encounter, a random twist of the cosmic wheel? He didn't have the answers, but he knew this. Life was a tapestry woven from threads of fate and chance. And sometimes, just sometimes, those threads intertwined to create something extraordinary, something beautiful and life-altering.